Hey guys, welcome back to Live Bold and Boss Up podcast. We are live at the Mahaffey Theater. We are recording for TBT Powered Up Tech Fest, and we have the privilege right now of chatting with Teddy Benson. He is over at Universal and he directs the data architecture and platforms over there. Really super fun, cool conversation.
Yeah, it's the new park Epic at Universal, which he tells us all about, which is just super cool. I can't wait to go. Sounds amazing. And just like kind of the technology behind it, which like you don't even think of all the different little things that goes into making the experience for the customers happen. So it's really cool and we need to check it out.
100%. And I love his passion. You can tell like he loves what he does, which
Hmm.
is just gets you so excited and into the conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you for coming.
yeah, absolutely.
Thank you for being on our podcast after it.
Absolutely.
And like you said, you were the dog and pony show on
I was
stage.
my
It's just you.
I was all the players on the stage. It was just me. So yeah.
So where did you go with the conversation? What did you share?
So the original ask was to, hey, can you give us some insight about Epic? And yes, but Epic hasn't launched yet, so I got to be careful on what I can and can't say. So I went down the avenue of things that are already well known, but I can get a little insider information, a little more details about it. So I went down through some of the technology, in particular, facial recognition, front entrance to the park, how we do ticketing, getting in, talked about mobile ordering. That's a big deal where people can pre-order things. They can and then go to the restaurant of choice, and then it recognizes they're there, sit down, bring the food to you. We add additional features to where if you had, say, have an allergy, I talked about my son has celiac, excuse me, and said, when we sit down, we can go ahead and pre-order, but when we sit down, we can make a request to have the chef come out. He comes out and he'll take the order and say, okay, look, you want this meal. I could do this meal without this and this. I can substitute that, and you can have the exact same meal. And great, done, click, and they bring it to us. And so talked about that. Then talked about virtual queuing because when you go to a theme park, just about everyone who goes to a theme park stands in line to go to a ride or to a show. Virtual queuing will help alleviate that, not completely remove it, but alleviate it to where you're not standing in line for 90 minutes. You set your preset time, you come back at that time, and you're only standing in line for like 5 minutes or so, or
Oh,
at least that's the
that's
expectation.
much better.
Right. But
Right.
then you can go off, for that other 90 minutes, you can go off and see another show or go see another ride or go have lunch or whatever the case may be. So you can enhance and optimize your experience within the park without sitting in line for an hour or so.
Right.
So that's the whole. And then the last one I did, I talked about the power bands. So power bands are a watch-like device that we use inside of Super Mario World. And it lets you become Super Mario in Super Mario World. So it's an RFID type setup to where you can walk around the world. And I don't know if you're familiar with Super Mario, the game,
Yes.
and you have the little blocks that you can blow up and you have the question mark box. There are those all around the world and you can hit them with your hand when you have the watch on or the power up band. And as you hit it, you hear it ring and you collect coins. And if you have it tied to the app on your phone, you can see your score. And there's scorecards throughout the world that you can click on and see your score and see how you rank with everyone else. And so everything is a virtual game inside. There's a trick that I didn't talk about on stage that I will announce to you guys if you like. If you have a power band and you go and there are games you can do, you can get a key. If you get 3 keys, it opens the door for you to compete against Bowser Jr. in another game that you can only get into if you have the 3 keys. So it is a part of Super Mario World that if you don't have a power-up band, you can't get in. But you have to have 3 keys. And so you have to go through some of the interactions that occur in the land. And then you get to go in and you become the icon avatar of the game facing off against Bowser Jr.
That is so cool.
So cool.
Yeah. It's just next level
It's the
entertainment.
next, exactly. It's next level. Well, I think next level after that would be augmented reality, but we're working on it.
Yeah.
So, just for our listeners, and everyone probably knows Epic, but Epic is Universal's like newest theme park.
So I will do the official statement. Epic Universe is a theme park in Orlando, Florida, that is the most technologically advanced theme park in the world.
Awesome.
And
there's only one of them.
There's only one. That's right. And it'll be live May 22nd, 2025.
But some of it's already live. No?
So we've done, I'm going to call soft openings,
Okay.
tech rehearsals. We've invited our annual pass holders in and have an opportunity for them to make a reservation to come in and experience it. We did a media night. We all obviously had team members come in and experience it first. And so we've been ramping up how we're doing things, crossing T's, dotting I's, making sure it's ready for prime time. So,
Awesome.
yeah.
So you do like your role, you do all the
I
technology.
am the director of data architecture platforms for a division of Universal Studios called UDX, which is Universal Destinations and Experiences. And I manage the data for here, Hollywood Studios, and Japan when needed.
Wow.
And we also have two ventures that are happening. One in Las Vegas, which is Horrors Unleashed, which is I'm going to call it a nighttime venue, come in, kind of a bar scene, but you have the opportunity to experience 3 live action haunted houses that'll rotate periodically. So it'll change it up so you can come back and experience it again and again. And we're going to be opening up soon a kids park in Cisco, Texas, which is designed for specific kids like under 10 or so. And so it'll be not an exclusive park, but a park geared towards them.
Cool.
So,
That's amazing.
And then what was I going to ask? How did you get into this? Like, were you I'm assuming you've always been interested in like technology and video games and like all
yes,
that stuff.
growing up very young. So I'm going to date myself. Back in the day, I had a Commodore 64, which is one of the first few public commercial computers that came out there. And I, to my mother and father's chagrin, took it apart. And when I took it apart, I added, because it didn't have enough memory. I couldn't do what I wanted to do. And so I took out a soldering gun from my dad's garage and added memory to it and then put it back together.
How did you even know to do that?
So my dad has, he's always been a tinkerer of electronics. And so I watched him do things and learned to do things. And so I knew how to solder things and knew that the chipset, I was able to look up the chipset going, I'm going to date myself again, going to Radio Shack and looking up the component for the memory stick. And oh, that's the 64 megs of RAM. Let me pull that out and put 128, the same style of chip, just with more memory in it. And so I increased its memory. I put it back together and my mother was still not, it did work. It did work enough to where then I also converted what's called the 1541 floppy drive. Floppies are a medium that's a 5 1/4 that looks like a mini disc record player, best way, but square. And changed it to where I could have a flip switch. So back in the day when you put them in, they were only read only. Well, I wanted to be able to write to it and store stuff in it without having to cut it. There was a way to where you had to cut a corner off or a little chit off to the side so it allows it to be writable. I didn't like doing that because if you didn't do it right, you messed up the disk. And I said, well, what if I put a switch inside of my 1541 that allows me to change, and I'm going to get really technical here, that the read head and changed it so I could flip its polarity to be writable. And so,
and how did you figure that out? That's crazy.
So that I got the idea from Commodore Magazine, which is a magazine you could buy and I got a subscription to. And there were people talking about how to do it. And then I looked up how to do a toggle switch, which you could buy at Radio Shack for like $2 and then some wiring. And then I had to make sure the voltage was right. And I will tell you, I will not lie. I thought I had blown my entire 1541 drive. At the time was a $250 thing, which was really expensive back in the day. But I didn't, and it did work. And I still have it to this day. It's got a little toggle switch on top and stuff. So.
I love that. You were naturally inquisitive and
100%. Yes.
I think that in and of itself is really great for people to hear, right? You have to be inquisitive and just go for it and try to figure it out.
And I had parents that really encouraged that, even though they were mad they took apart my computer. Well, my mother was like, "Okay, you're gonna go learn some computer courses," and so she pushed me into computers, and I loved it and been in it ever since. And so I am a traditional gearhead software engineer guy. I like to solve problems. Can I think outside the box? How can I do it? How can I do it faster, quicker, better? I mean, it's really what it comes down to. And so, again, college, the degree in computer science, master in computer science. I got a mathematics minor, electrical engineering minor, and a theater minor. Long story short, I had roommates who were in theater. I did theater in high school, and they said, "Hey, you should join us." So I did. So I got a minor in that. And then I did a undergrad understudy in artificial intelligence. And then from there, did programming. I worked for IBM, Lockheed Martin, Siemens, Disney. I had my own company for about 13 years.
Really?
Yes.
What was that?
So I started a company actually in Orlando with 5 guys called Channel Intelligence. We were designing an e-commerce platform to basically do management of products. Now, again, this is the early 90s of for retail stores and manufacturers. And so the idea is we would go to a manufacturer and say, hey, let's say a manufacturer who was a DVD player, because back in the 90s. And so, hey, you have 17 DVD players. We'd like all the information about it. We'll make web pages for it and then itemize it and index it into a database so that then these retailers can have access to that data, set their prices, and then we can share to a user an interface that shows all the prices for the various products across the various stores. So Best Buy, CompUSA at the time, Target, Sears at the time,
Right,
and
right.
various other companies, and you could see all the price rankings. So it's doing, I mean, I'm sure you heard of Price Spider and
Right.
Price Grabber and
It
so
was
forth. So
like
that
the
was that
first
that was the
mover
first
of
thing.
that,
So we did
right?
that in 1997, technically 1999 really officially, and then we expanded into doing I'm going to call it spend management for banners. So we did such a good job at atomizing products and vendors, and we had the top 500 internet retailers using our services. So we knew a lot about users coming in and out of the internet. In fact, at the time we calculated out, we knew about 22% of all purchases going on the internet, we knew about.
Wow.
So we could make a good projection using some machine learning on how products were doing in the world. And so, but we also knew about John Doe over here looking at this product and looking at that product and buying this product. And I could go, hey, John Doe just looked at tennis shoes and tennis balls and a tennis racket. Hey, Nike, do you sell tennis shoes? We should probably show an ad for this guy when he's on your page because he is really interested
We
in
almost
tennis.
went into marketing there.
Well, we did. So we did spend management. We did so well. We took just about every client that Google had for that arena. And Google came down and said, hey, what are you doing? You're taking all of our business. We should partner. No, we're just going to buy you out. And so they came in 2013, basically bought us out.
Awesome.
And so, yeah,
Congratulations.
so a nice feather on our cap to sell to
Absolutely.
Google. I worked for Google for about 4-ish years and then transferred over to Disney because long story short, they wanted me to move to Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is a very cold place. My wife is a native Floridian, wasn't really conducive to that.
Yeah, yeah,
So we stayed
absolutely.
here.
Absolutely.
What's been like the most exciting job that you've had to you?
Oh, most exciting job. I would say the most exciting from a somewhat because it was governmental was probably Lockheed Martin.
Oh,
To really see how government works with contractors on military and non-military, governmental things was eye-opening. And some of the things that were being thought of and being paid for by the government was also enlightening. And so from that perspective, but my second one, my most favorite and fun to do was the startup with Channel Intelligence. The camaraderie, the number of people, the things we did, the true essence of being a startup. I mean, we were in business during the dot com boom and then the bubble bursting, surviving, recovering, and then being able to sell. And that, I mean, that's just, legendary type
Absolutely.
story. So that's probably the top.
that's so interesting. I was waiting for you to say like epic because it's so cool. And
Well,
but you said Lockheed Martin, which you
well,
totally threw me for a
again,
loop.
I'm talking from a technical side,
Right. Yeah.
a nuance. Now,
And
if
I
you're
get
talking
it.
theme parks, I mean, Epic hands down is just, it's the top dog right now.
Yeah,
So,
sure.
Yeah, that's
and
interesting.
hopefully, knock on wood, it will continue to be so for a long time. So,
Mhm.
yeah.
Well, with
Very
you there, I'm sure it will.
I am just one of many in the cogs. It is a collaboration effort. My team members at Universal, they get all the kudos. I help. I'm part of the team, but man, there are stars within Universal that just shine, that do so well. So,
Well,
so
I can't.
I can't say all. I was gonna say I can't take all. I'll take a little. I'll take a sliver. I'll take a sliver of credit, but I won't. It's all team members.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. I wish I had a brain like yours to like think that way technologically. I don't at all. So it's just to me it's so interesting, and I wish I had a little bit of that.
I think it's a Universal does a very good job at being conducive and aware of their team members and how to help and provide for those team members. And I think it's any business can do it. You just have to desire to do it. Does that make sense? And so
Yeah.
I think that if there's an intent, I think you can make it happen. I think it's just a matter of applying it more than anything else. I mean, Universal is huge. Universal is part of NBC Universal and part of Comcast, and they all have that same time. Again, large companies, so a little different, but in general, follow that same cadence. They really do care about their employees and want to be proactive for their employees to give them what they need to not only do their job, but also what they need to do for their life. And so they try very hard to give a good balance.
Yeah.
So
No, that's very important.
One other question that I
Sure,
think everyone
absolutely.
probably wonder, or at least I am, does Universal give you free passes? Are you allowed to bring families and
Sure.
friends?
So Universal is very kind in that when we do openings like Epic, they invite team members to go and
That's
try.
great.
And then they give a friends and family opportunity, and they'll give us a select number of tickets. And they also understand, hey, look, we're going to give everyone, hypothetically 4 tickets. But they know that some families are larger. And so they go, hey, if you have need because you need more, write in, here's an email address, tell us, hey, I have 6 kids. I really can't go with my 4. I really need to go with 6. And they try to accommodate, say, okay, yes, you can, but go on this day instead of that day so we can balance out the
Right.
event. As Universal employees, we always have the ability to go into parks barring, special events. And we get a selection of tickets to use for family and friends and outcasts, and have done that many times.
That's great.
And handed out because I want everyone to experience it.
Absolutely.
In fact, I just had my nephew come in on Monday, and he's like, "Hey, Uncle Teddy, can we get tickets? I have 2 friends." I'm nope, let me go see. Yep, okay, yep, we can. It's available. Let me go get him, send him to him, and he's right now, I think, enjoying Volcano Bay.
Oh,
water park.
nice.
Awesome.
Nice.
So yeah, so it's always good to share the wealth, as it were.
Right,
So,
right.
yeah.
Oh, we're so happy that you came over here.
No, thank
all
you.
the way
Thank you
from
for having me.
Orlando and
Yeah,
was on the podcast. It was great talking with you.
perfect.
And
Anytime,
I
anytime.
look
I'm
forward
happy.
to going to Epic and
Please
checking it
do.
out.
Please do. Like I said, May 22nd is a big day. I did say this during my talk. It's going to be crowded, summertime,
Sure.
new park. So those who are local, they're looking to go and they don't want to necessarily fight all the crowds. I gave a little tip during my event is that there will be, I don't want to say it'll be a downtime, but I think there'll be a slow time like the 3rd and 4th week of August. And the reason why that is that's the end of summer, kind of the end of vacation time. So it starts to slow down. People are going back home. And it's just before we start Halloween Horror Nights. And so Halloween Horror Nights is going to ramp up. So it's that little bit of a lull just before. So if you're looking for a time to go, that might be something to look at.
Okay,
Sounds
good
good.
advice. Well, thank
So,
you.
yeah, very
Thanks for
good. Well, thank
coming
you
on.
for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you.